Hey everybody, it's Bust with Busted Strategies number 51. Jumping back into the Midnight Hunt drafts. Let's get to it. So yeah, the things going on. We did get to stream yesterday. It was yesterday as this video was released, and so that's what I think I'm looking to do forward. Not just stream, but I think kind of the idea is kind of where I would like to take this. Is I still want to do like 4 YouTube videos a week on kind of our main game. Our main game now being Magic, and try and continue to be the mythic level expert in that, and then stream on Saturdays and Sundays as more of a what's new kind of thing. And so kind of the idea is on Tuesday through Friday have the YouTube draft videos come out, and then on Saturday and Sunday stream whatever feels right. And so like here in the upcoming weeks, that would be there's Crimson Vow that's going to be coming out this upcoming Thursday. So we'd look to stream Crimson Vow on Saturday and Sunday there. Probably stream it again the next weekend, but then following with that, probably have some time to do whatever the new Runeterra set is, or jump into Storybook Brawl or something, whatever. It's kind of like the kind of informative and high quality gameplay people come to expect from FTP Bust, going into the YouTube videos, and then more of the hangout kind of atmosphere on the streams on the weekend. And so that's going to be kind of the idea going forward. I want to stick the tip in and see how it feels for a couple of weeks and see if it seems feasible to do that way. But I think it'll be okay to pull that off. And so it's just if you're trying to stream on Sundays and it's game day, you got to you gotta get your stream done before the game starts. Watch your Chiefs. But we'll see. But nonetheless, back to the action here. Not a super powerful set. There is Champion of the Perished, which is quite good, and whatever flavor of black you land in. Usually, if you can just get 1 token on it, it's fine. 2 is great. Otherwise, we're really just looking at like a Midnight Ambush or a Bait Hook Angler. None of those are really feeling like high quality, super high pick kind of cards. So I'm looking at the Champion in this pack. We could perhaps get like the white-black themes going together between like the Champion and the Unruly Mob, but realistically, we're just hoping to like table a Craw from the Cellar out of this. There's nothing in this that would point us towards being able to wheel good black-red cards, unless we're just kind of say like, well, we'll probably get a Brimstone Vandal out of this, but we're not seeing like the Festival Crashers or the Shadow Beast Sighting kind of like comeback cards out of a pack like this. Okay, so I mean there is a bit of payoff. The opponent to the right took the rare, so we're gifted an Infernal Grasp. Just absolutely the premier targeted removal of the format. So we'll happily pick that one up. Also should pretty much cut off black, and so I think black should be pretty safe for upcoming Impact 2. We do typically look to be in blue-black with Champion of the Perished, and so we'll have to see how that shakes out, but I think the Infernal Grasp here is fine. I would say the person behind us. The next 2 picks out of this pack, though, would probably be the Organ Hoarder and the Odric's Outrider. So have to just look to try and cut off black to a degree. All right, we can continue on with Defense Straight. This is how we just land in the blue-black decks every time. It's just like, here's some removal. You want it? Okay. All right, it's yours. But I haven't seen anything that would like look like a particularly interesting wheel as far as what could be coming back to us. Okay, and then just removal for days. Like if we're looking to get the zombies together, there's a lot going on here. I wonder if we could ever get like a no way out back out of this pack. Like Bounding Wolf, Ruffian, Blade Brand are going to be kind of those choices. But here we do have the Vengeful Strangler, not a zombie, but does play quite well in more aggressively oriented black decks, and that's where I'm kind of looking now. I know this is like a late defense straight to be letting go, but I don't like ending up in these decks that just have like 10 removal spells and 10 dudes in it. I think we need to find a little bit of direction here. the Strangler, it's sort of a removal spell, right? You can come down and start doing the sacrifice thing on the flip side. Okay, I'm not really amped about Arrogant Outlaw here, but I do like to continue just to cut black. We aren't missing out on too much. I think like the strongest card for us out of a pack like this anyways would just be like Voldaren Stinger. But I think I just want to continue on the black cut. It looks like as far as these cards are coming together, we might be finding ourselves trying to be in an aggressive black deck. This is kind of how you land into black-red, but let's see. Those cuts have been had. And now it's knowing that, like, at pick 9, we're looking to pick up a Brimstone Vandal. I don't want to be playing, like, Otherworldly Gazes in a blue-black style deck. I think it's okay to kind of, like, dip our toes into red. We're not missing out on anything as far as a white-black or a blue-black deck is concerned, and I don't want to be playing green-black here. So let's take the Vandal. Looks like we might end up into, more aggressively oriented number. The Stolen Vitality would play into that as well. I'd rather have our first Stolen Vitality. We usually don't play multiples of Bat Whisperer. There is a Bait Hook Angler, though. But it just kind of feels like the red stuff is potentially happening here. Here's the Brimstone Vandal. Again, not blue cards I'm really upset about passing on. Otherworldly Gaze again. All right. Well, let's see if we don't get this aggressive black-red deck together. I don't really want to be doing that. I feel like the only card we've really passed up to this point we would rather have in blue-black is the Bait Hook Angler. And so I'm still really kind of like looking to go into next pack and just be like, okay, well, we're still just drafting blue-black here. But I think kind of like white-black and green-black are off the table. Unless we open like Elisa. If we open Elisa, then we'll kind of consider our options, but... Not bad. We got our champion of the perished with no ways to make zombies. we got one here in the no way out though. I think I'd rather have no way out as opposed to the Harrier. And I do still think there's a world where we end up in blue black, but you just open Ludovic to make it a little bit easier. I think he's fine. There's no red cards of note. The only black card of note would be the Midnight Ambush. I think this is fine. And then ideally we would get the table, say like a Larder Zombie out of this one. All right, we're looking at more defense traits. Let's get this lined up here. I want to move the red cards over, make this pile of spells that we're going to be playing. Vengeful Strangler certainly drops in value if we're looking to play blue-black, but I think that's okay. Then I'm just kind of looking on the defense trait at this stage. There's a lot of good white-black cards here, but I don't feel like we've had like the complete engine show up. I've been like really low on white black these days anyways. There are really good white black cards here at the uncommon. You have the whole deck here in the uncommon space, but I think we're okay to let that go. And beautiful Skaab Wrangler. All right, let's lock in the zombies. Yeah, hobbling zombie with table here. 4 cards coming back. Probably the best we'd probably hope for here is like Unblinking Observer, but I mean, if we get like a Shady Traveler out of this, that would be exceptional. I think this is good. Skaab. Nice. I think those black cuts in the first pack really helped set us up here. Okay, interesting. Do we ever play a Curse of Surveillance in this deck? I'm just trying to like piece together if we have just like enough late game stuff to do to where we don't have to try and play a card like that, and then you're also getting a bit of 2-for-1 power out of a foul play. I think we can probably just let it go. Not huge on the Curse of Surveillance. There's a lot of good black stuff here. I do want to crawl from the cellar and be okay with a siege zombie, but let's pick up the good card advantage in the foul play. Rotten Reunion we tend to play more often than not. I'm not worried. Probably not playing these Arrogant Outlaws as it is, so let's pick up the Unblinking Observer. All right, starting to come together. Need a bit more zombie stuff, but no complaints up to here. We had to see if we can't just mess up this Ludovic. I can't remember the last time I played Ludovic. I was just slaying this left and right, doing this completely wrong, not realizing this ability was like a sorcery. It was bad. We were doing all kinds of horrible stuff with him. I feel like I made a video out of it, but I can't quite remember. All right, well, we've just filled out our top end. Shouldn't need any more of that. I mean, do we end up playing more the Stranglers here? It's like we don't need Geist Waves, right? We've got Foul Play, Infernal Grasp, 2 defense traits. We can probably pick up a bounce spell next pack if we want. I would kind of rather our bounce spell be Revenge of the Drowned anyways, just because it makes the zombie. But let's see. All right, red card's out. We're not going to play Otherworldly Gaze here. Already have 1 Rotten Reunion. We won't play 2. Larder Zombie didn't table, which is a bit sad. But we've got ourselves a reasonable pile of cards here otherwise. Champion of the Perish number 2. Okay. We're going to have to like really focus on picking up zombies the rest of the way through. Like hopefully we can table like a hobbling zombie. A lot of these little zombies I was hoping to table just didn't do it. And so it's a bit unfortunate in that sense, but we're going to have to make a concerted effort to pick up. I don't want another No Way Out, but I would like a Flip the Switch and a Revenge of the Drowned. And I think we're kind of okay. So yeah, the zombie card I don't want is No Way Out. I'm kind of interested in this Gale Drifter. I would really like a Crawl from the Cellar here, but do we ever pick it up over the Gale Drifter? It doesn't do a whole lot in our deck, and we don't have a lot of the self-mill. Let's pick up our first Crawl from the Cellar. I feel like we could still win the game without the Gale Drifters here. Looking to play this collection of expensives over here, these 3. Ghoulish Procession. I mean, that's a way to certainly get the zombies going. I think we can take it. We're not going to play the Novice Occultist or the Locked in the Cemetery. I think it might be okay here. I mean, we have our double Champion of the Perish deck. We have to be like really interested in that. We have a Skaab Wrangler to use all of the extra zombies. It's good. The thing we're really lacking here is Falcon Abomination. That's what like really makes these draws powerful when you're able to go like Champion of the Perish, Skaab, Falcon, or Champion of the Perish, Ludovic, Falcon. Like those big zombie curves are quite strong. I don't think we've even seen a Falcon Abomination through this set of cards. Yeah, I like what's happening here. I'd like to get these outlaws out of the deck. There's a second zombie for us. Coming together. The second Ghoulish Procession we won't play. Don't feel like this is really a component collector deck though. I mean, do we ever get 2 of these on board? Huh. Well, we're not playing Shipwreck Sifters, and it's kind of our only option here. So we'll pick up the second one. I don't think we're ever going to play it, but it'll be an option. I mean, I guess you do really have to stop and consider playing 2 of them when you have a deck that has 2 Champion of the Perished and 2 Scabs in it. This pack is lightened up quite a bit. Don't think we'll ever play Novice Occultist, but we're definitely not playing something. Who was the other one there? Oh, the Shipwreck Sifters. So here there's a Bait Hook, Angler, Geist Wave, and then the No Way Out. I'm kind of leaning towards the No Way Out. I mean, we have reasonable zombie generation. We have this Rotten Reunion. Maybe we just end up picking up the Geist Wave here. The second Drown Yard Amalgam for our zombie package. Just go all in on it. Alright, I think we're out of picks. I don't think we're getting the wheels out of any of the cards we wanted to wheel. Just a bunch of Naya coming on the way back here. Duress. The organic chicken informed me Duress is the lowest win rate card in in draft. Courtesy of 17 lands. Alright. Let's see what we can do here. I don't think we want any of these sideboard cards. The Otherworldly Gaze can stay. Rotten Reunion we've already got a copy of. I don't think we play the Novice Occultist. We don't have any of the sacrifice themes to really pop off with that. The thing I'm kind of looking at here is like, what if we take out the the flyer, stick to the 2 zombie amalgam things, take out the arrogant outlaws, and then where does that get us? It's like I kind of like having the flyer in here, just kind of in terms of it lets you make Ludovic have his unblockableness, but I think it's okay to let it go. Playing 2 ghoulish processions just seems ultra greedy. If you ever have a draw where you pick up 2 of them, it's just like too much that can go wrong with that. We had 14 creatures. I'm looking to bring back in the flyer, the Stormrider Spirit. Not really excited about having it in this deck, but our top end is kind of light here. So if we bring in the Stormrider Spirit, don't think we need the Arrogant Outlaws, but I'm not opposed to, say, taking out things like Unblinking Observer and adding it back in. Like, the Vengeful Stranglers worry me in this deck. They're not, like, we don't have any way to sacrifice it, and so they're just pretty ignorable the whole game. I could see taking them out, but let's see. The 2 Arrogant Outlaws. The Novice Occultist was our last one. This is the Novice Occultist, it seems like more of a do-nothing than the Vengeful Strangler. So I think that can go. And the Unblinking Observers tend to be able to chunk damage in on occasion. Then we'd have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 early plays. Really not happy with our zombie counts in this thing. But I guess that's what happens when you just don't see Falcon Abominations, but that seems to be our big struggle here. Missing out on anything for our Skaab Wrangler? I don't think so. All right. So yeah, this is what I would call like, and one of the concepts I would use a lot in the past, and what you ran into in a lot of limited formats was it came down to like taking high risk, high reward picks in terms of, you know, if you swing for some of the high risk picks and miss, you might be only having like 21 or 22 playables, or sometimes even 20. But if it hit, would you be like, was that like a high valued card that made your deck turn out poor worth it in terms of like it would win you more games than to say just like drawing extra land every time? And that's what it kind of like feels like with this deck. Was like we kind of swung for the zombies and we have like a lot of the pieces, we have like a lot of the real raw zombie power here, but we just fell short of a 23, which is pretty tough to do in this format. But I mean, when I look at this though, the only card that I would wish we had, like if these 2 Arrogant Outlaws were zombie Falcon zombies, Falcon Abominations, like I would look at this and be like, oh, this is probably a this is probably a pretty easy 7 winner. But we just have like a little bit too much awkwardness here between like the zombie generation lacking, Vengeful Stranglers not really doing anything. But it's like I can show you like if you put together like hands looking like this, I can't get the sort to work, but it's like seeing this like zombie package and stuff, it looks like a really supremely powerful deck. But we're strong enough to do some work here, so let's dive in and get to it. All right, off we go. We're just going to get a bunch of big time draws with these Champion of the Perish and not draw the weird vampire half of our deck. I mean, maybe I didn't give this deck enough credit for how aggressive it can actually be, and those Vampire Stranglers will actually be okay. I mean, we do have like a really aggressively oriented collection of cards. I don't want to like think of ourselves as being this kind of like real tempo-y zombies deck, but this deck is certainly capable of doing it. Like I talk about that kind of idea with blue-black on occasion, as to where, you know, you'll occasionally just have these draws to where you play like a big curve where you start with like the random like 2-3, and then you're able to just come out and play a big tempo game when your opponent stumbles a little bit, and you're playing this real control-y deck, but it has the big tempo draws that can occasionally just crush. Oh. This is going to be a slight problem in the Delver. Wonder if he just whiffed. Oh, he did the full mulligan, the big three. 3 dudes straight to the graveyard. And so it's like, do we want to get Vengeful Stranglers going, or would we rather just like foul play this Delver since it's probably going to be flipping? I think I'm kind of okay with the probably flipping aspect of this. Like, if he spends this turn like playing another Otherworldly Gaze, yeah, it's like, who really cares? He didn't have a play last turn. Like, he didn't have the shock for our Champion of the Perished. And so, like, what's he realistically going to do this turn? Is he going to tap out for Otherworldly Gaze, just play another land and pass? Like, fine. I'm gonna get to doing them aggro things I was talking about. And then he still missed. Sorry for your misfortunes, my man. That's a really aggressive attack. Okay. This just doesn't feel to me like the way you go out here and win a game. But our one attack Champion of the Perished trying to go toe to toe with the one attack Zelver of Secrets, who wins at the end of the day. Alright, I'm looking to just bring like Ludovic into the equation now. We have this Drownyard Amalgam in our graveyard. Let's hit with one Strangler. If he wants, like, if we attack with both Stranglers, they just come out on this board and trade. And I'm not, like, super interested in that. But this way, we can at least get a Strangle out of it. I guess it kind of leaves us in the same spot, though, if he just... I'm surprised he didn't say, like, block our Ludovic. And should we have attacked with everything? Maybe we should have attacked with both Stranglers, but... I think that outcome that we just got was probably as good as it could have been. Alright, well, that should end it. We did it, we won a game. Our one attack Champion of the Parish is get out here doing work. You're just doing work, my man. All right. What a game. We can do it. I knew we had it in us. I knew we could win a game if we tried our hardest and put our minds to it. But yeah, I mean, I do kind of suspect we can't end up with these draws where, yeah, we didn't. I don't know if we even saw a Startle in that draft either. Startle would be like an all-star in a deck like this, being able to win a combat and get a zombie token and protect our Champion of the Perished. I don't think we saw a Falcon Abomination or a Startle throughout that whole draft. Weird. Let's play this a little slower. Let's get Ludovic on board. Attacks. He just lost out on our Scab Wrangler, which kind of sucks, but it's not the end of the world. I do kind of like that on our next turn we can foul play something and Rotten Reunion, just to try and get our Champion of the Perished going a little bit. Alright, Ludovic, get him. Milling away all of our good cards. Skaab Wrangler, now the Bladestitched Skaab. Everybody's getting taken away from us. Alright, we'll miss out on the touch of value from the Bat Whisperer just to try and take over this board. Immediately shut down. Immediately. Oh, wrong. We gotta click the avatar. All the quality getting milled away today. It's giving us the way to pick up a bunch of land. What was that one? The Spirit, the Outlaw, and the Infernal Grasp? What? So you just want the flyer? I'll take the bait on whatever's happening here. This is going to be the Covert Cut Purse? Yeah. Maybe. A little less enthused about that. And it was like obvious that something was afoot, but that is a bit of a problem. Let's draw a card first, then we can get the procession on. It's just trying to run through my head if we should have ever just take that bait hook angler damage. I mean, there's the world where they get like some of the damage based like Bat Whisperers and things like that online, but the cut purse is becoming more and more common. Okay, his attacks here aren't very good. Oh, don't highlight our amalgam. Fuck. We don't have a lot of ways back in this one. We need to hit our raised dead or something. Because our deck is very focused on the front end. Milled the rest of our top end. I think that's really of the 20-some cards in our deck. I feel like Crawl from the Cellar is the only good draw that we have. There it is. I'm counting on you to do some work. I don't know if you can watch the mills, but that was definitely another three dude mill. I mean, we're not really interested in drawing any of these cards, but just counting on a little more from our deck. Let's get this land out of their hand, put our zombie on board. We'll go ahead and defenestrate the amalgam when they're out of cards as well. Oh. Well. Alright, are we ahead now? Maybe. If everybody just draws like even from this point forward, it seems pretty decent for us. Maybe not as decent as I thought. Alright, so it'll take us to 3 on this attack. We get to defend straight the Hobbling Zombie mid-combat. But then we're going to have to get back to blocking duty. Oh, we're just dead. Okay. Weird game. That was a weird-ass game. But yeah, I mean, if we'd just taken the bait hook angler hit, that's what that game actually came down to, is that bait hook angler letting the cut purse kill our drown yard amalgam. And I mean, maybe we should just let it in. Like, our life total's healthy. But it's just like so common in this format to make those dumb attacks to try and get a point of damage in for like a Bat Whisper, get a point of damage in for a the +1/+1 Neo Knight thing, or even just to be like, well, I'm never getting ground based damage in. Let me get a flyer out of this bait hook angler, and so there's definitely arguments for making that block, because there's even a lot of, I mean, he's not playing Search Party Captain, but there's a lot of attacks that just involve dropping a Search Party Captain on the board, and they're able to kind of bluff in a couple points of damage. And so I don't know. I think it's because like my value personally has gone so low on the Covert Cut Purse. Like it's just in a deck like we're playing here today, it would be marginal, where we're actually looking to have a lot of aggressive draws. But most of the blue-black decks are just never getting in attacks that where either you know that you're not going to get a trade or better, right? You're not attacking with like a bunch of like 1/5s and hoping your opponent blocks so you get a takedown later with the Covert Cut Purse. It's just like so challenging to deal damage to an opponent's unit on your attack phase to where the Cut Purse can come down and be useful. And so I've kind of just let him start going and quit playing it and quit drafting it, but maybe other people didn't get the memo, because it was certainly good there. I feel like we would have won that game if we'd had the amalgam on board, just had 2 of those things running, and so a bit awkward. But nonetheless, GG. On to the next one. All right, next battle. What do we got? The vengeful strangler curve. I mean, this is not very good on the draw, but I think it's like interactive enough to where we're willing to deal with it. This is probably a mulligan, but we're gonna give it a go. Draw a champion of the Perish, no zombie hand. Looks pretty good. One of the many powerful things this deck is capable of doing. And I feel okay against the Festival Crashers. I mean, the Geist Wave is often enough to really throw them some fits, depending on how all in they go on their Crasher. This draw's a little bit scarier, but you don't have a lot of options here. Let's see how big he goes. Okay, that's serviceable. The Geist Wave's going to be pretty good. Right, he attacks, we bounce. You can't get an attacker again until next turn. We only take 3. Now we can get a boosted Bat Whisperer on the board. It's pretty good. He's made a really big investment in three damage and a champion of the Perished. Okay. Getting them. So then, like, how worried are we if he just attacks into the Drownyard Amalgam? His big one would be having a stolen vitality. I think this is okay. Give us time. Mm-hmm. So I mean, if he runs into the same thing again here, right? If he has to stolen vitality or Drownyard Amalgam, he's just missing out on like so much damage. Moonrager Slash is even better. Kills the Festival Crashers off for us. Not planning on a big gotcha with the Stormrider Spirit, but should hopefully be good. Oof. Ooh, that was a big gotcha. Nice. Nice. Victory is ours. Okay. Insta battles. What do we got here? Well, that's a reasonable collection of cards, I guess. Not too powerful. I haven't seen too many indicators that I would like to be getting more of these ghoulish processions back in here. Like, as you can imagine, just like if you draw a hand with like two ghoulish processions, it's like say Rotten Reunion is a ghoulish procession. It's just so tough to come back from. But the Arrogant Outlaw was a surprisingly good pickup here. Assume he never blocks the Vengeful Strangler next turn, and then we just get in for the damage and get the Outlaw boost. And then it's a pretty threatening unit for the Festival Crasher to have to look at. And then if he plays a defense trade or something on our Arrogant Outlaw, that's completely fine. He's missing out on damages that way. He really wants to be playing spells on his turn to get the boost on the Festival Crasher. Yeah, I dig it. I'm on board with what's happening here. Mm-hmm. Need to keep all of our black mana up. Can't get ourselves out of that one, can we? That's too bad. We can only make it a 2/2. Alright, then I want to go ahead and play the Rotten Reunion. I guess I was going to say, do we think it's more likely that they can return a unit or return it a spell? But we literally only have one choice, so it's fine enough to let that go. The Strangler. I feel like our Skaab is just going to get killed here, but again, that's another. If he plays it now to be mana efficient, that's another 2 damage missed off the Festival Crasher. If he goes into the next turn, then we still get a tap out of it. All seems pretty good to me. Okay. Alright, so we're just gonna have to take 6. These are lifelink attackers as well, and so it's gonna take us kind of immediately out of being able to race. But it's not bad. We have the lockdown on his unit. We've picked up the defense trait. I think this is good. We're technically threatening lethal next turn. So if he taps out for like a big dum-dum or something, then we just win the game. It's not cool. Oh, not that one. We want a Rotten Reunion. Get his card. Get the 3rd dude on board. Now we can wrangle tap. That exiles, so we don't get the dude from the procession. But we can just do this, right? That'll give us the unit from the procession. Feel like we got him. GG. Cool. All right, so yeah, I mean, I think those games kind of show whenever you talk about these black decks with these Vengeful Stranglers and such, you typically want it to be, you know, on the more aggressive side of things. This is how you make a deck with like Vampire Interlopers work. We usually look at this to be kind of like a white-black deck where we're trying to have the Stranglers and the Interlopers and the Candleguard Covens and, you know, all of the good like kind of sacrifice aggressive stuff. You can do it in blue-black, but again, we aren't like exactly there in terms of a deck. We're like a 20-card deck in terms of us out here doing aggro things. But we'll see. We'll see how far this Vengeful Strangler can take this hand. This hand needs a bit of work, but it has a lot of reasonable early game stuff to be doing. Like, does he take it? does he let this go in? And here I'm just going to take down the Candlegrove Witch. I'm not worried about the Trapper at this stage of the game. It'll be scary later on, but right now it's not that big of a deal. Ooh, and then just no plays. Are you gonna hit us with a Cathar Commando or something, or just the tap? Sure. Perfect. That's how the pros do it, right? you just pick up the 2-drop when you need to. Oh, that's gonna die. FYI, that's going down. That's a problem. we're gonna struggle with dealing with the Burly Breaker, but let's see what we can do. I mean, we can still just attack. We get to put one of these on the breaker. That would be pretty good. We had a really good thing. We got the Tireless Hauler and Ritual Guardian out of hand. Do nothing. Alright, let's slam in all the damage that we can. That was not an ideal draw for this turn. That has me a little worried. Only get to take him to 2. Just need a way to get in that last little punch of damage. Assume he's got a commando block a zombie token. Oh. Interesting. Did not think you would want to let the Stranglers die here. Yeah, we can ward 3. Yes. I forgot that was the expensive amount of mana coming out of this thing. Okay. Oh, man. I think we've lost this game. Just a little bit too short. Ludovic's not going to do anything here, I don't believe. Getting all these dire stain demolishers on us. The stains were dire, I assure you. I think what he's worried about is if we're able to play 2 cards this turn, right? We can flip them back down to the front side, and then with the block, oh, even with the block, he's still going to be lethal on us. All right, let's save some time here. Just a little bit short. Damn. Had to check the fantasy football notifications. I feel like it's got a lot of them. Should be good. Should be good. We have to see. I have to see how the football pans out today. I love seeing all these notifications come in. I wish Adrian Peterson the best on the day. Welcome back, old ass man. He is, as much as life hurts sometimes in terms of being old and having to make noises when you get up from the couch and shit. to see Adrian Peterson out there playing football at 37 years old is pretty impressive. Oh, did the game just crash on us? So yeah, in terms of just being old, and it's odd as well that like with all that happened with the Ravens this year and losing their entire backfield, and then bringing where are we at? Oh, back in action here, and then bringing oh, what's his name? The I can't remember the names of the dudes that just landed on the Ravens, but 2 of them were retirees, and Adrian Peterson was not one of the dudes to come back. So Devonta Freeman, that was one of them. I forget who the other one was. Kind of feel like we maybe should have just played No Way Out beforehand. How bad is this if we get popped by a Nebelgast Intruder? And it's pretty bad. And we miss out on the damage here. Maybe we should have just done it first. I like doing it first just in the terms of Nebelgast Intruder being so bad for us. Not sure what opponent has going on here, though. We got half of a gaze and an island off that No Way Out. Not impressive by any means, but we didn't have anything else going on anyways. Lots of people out here trying to crash the festival today. Not too scary. I mean, if he has a Stolen Vitality, it's pretty bad for us since it gives first strike on the back end, but he should be like really drained out of cards if that's what he's trying to do here, and making it pretty challenging for him to actually win the game. Kind of the same deal here. I mean, it's unfortunate that we've lost our champion, but I think it's okay. And let me give you a little FYI on how the game works. You have to spend mana, the Beyond Zero for Ludwig, and you can only play it as a sorcery. I have effed that up many a time. And so there's no adding Ludwig to this board and then immediately turning him into a Scab Wrangler. You just don't have the mana to do that kind of thing. But next turn maybe. Okay. This is so good for us when you're trying to do the kind of combo-oriented Festival Crashers things. You just can't beat down cards. You're spending so much trying to get the spells in as damage that if you don't have the spells in as damage, you fall pretty quickly behind. Sure, let's make Ludwig all big. Exile 3. And a bounce spell. Seems like he's itching to just drop another Geist Wave on us, but let's see if we can get this big chunk in. Okay, that's fine. Geist Wave would have been pretty nice for him, not gonna lie. Not gonna lie. He picks up a Fading Hope. Alright. But, I mean, we did get him to 3. We've got this Drown Yard Amalgam ready to be unblockable. And then we also have the 2 zombie tokens. Kind of threatening lethal. This seems quite good for us. He's just cycling through looking for things to do. We did it. We did it, Gaz. Victory. What do we got? This doesn't look like much of a winner, but when has that ever stopped us? Vengeful Strangler, go. Alright, we're on the offensive. Why do you get to have Falcon Abominations? This is horse shit. We should be the ones with Falcon Abominations. Alright, let's head off to the races. He's gonna Gale Drift us. Delver of Secrets. Okay. Not horrible, right? Not horrible. Not great, not horrible. Gives us a little bit of an advantage. Okay. This seems like the best vengeful stranglers we're gonna see. That was some pretty good strangling. Here's if we should roll out the Stormrider Spirit now, just to not have to worry about flip the switches. Seems like he has a card. So if he attacks, I'm just going to take it. I don't want to risk losing our Stormrider Spirit to like a Flare of Faith, because this Falcon Abominations is going to die next turn. It's just pretty unfortunate for us if that would be the case, just to give him a, trade a combat trick for one of our units. So I think this is good. Add the Procession. It shouldn't be super relevant. I mean, he's not going to be... There's just no removal spells, right? Just in case. They're dropping dum-dums like that. To continue on our aggression with this defense trait now. Feels good. Get the zombie token out of it. Get to play all of our removals here. Oh, it's only once per turn though with the Procession? Shit. Maybe we should have waited a turn on that one. I just assumed we were automatically getting the additional token. This is lethal now, right? He's only got one card in hand. Decent chance we just win the game. He's highlighting stuff. Sure. Got him. All right, 5 wins. Nice. Put us in the positive on this one. Feels good. It's good. As we come to the end of the Midnight Hunt season. Pulling off a 5 winner. Hells yeah. Now I would like to get to Mythic before Crimson Vow comes out. I don't think we'll get there, because I was expecting Crimson Vow to come out 2 weeks from now. I don't know if you follow along daily with us, but it was ultimately pretty frustrating, right? I wanted to see when Crimson Vow would come to Arena. There's of course no articles or anything from Wizards that says anything. You just see that the release date is on the 19th, and so it's like, okay, well, I know that with with Midnight Hunt they released it like a week before they did in paper. So I was like, well, maybe that's what they're doing this time. So let's go check on the Arena website where everything should be up to date and current. And it's like you go and look at the Arena website, and it doesn't have anything updated through November. And this was just a matter of like 2 or 3 days ago. So I was like, oh well, that's a fucking choice. And so I guess we'll just assume that the new cards come out on release day, and then that was just something special that they did for Midnight Hunt. And I was, took the day off for the 19th, and then it turns out the new cards are coming out on the 12th, or I guess the 11th. They come out on a Thursday, and so yeah, it's kind of is what it is. I guess we've learned our lesson for next time, but it was a bit frustrating for me, wanting to get to come out and stream 5 or 6 hours of the new set, and then have that just not be the way it is. It's ultimately, I'm sure that that's a very challenging website to keep up to date with, with such facts, but that's most certainly something I shouldn't have to be going to Reddit to try and figure out. Alrighty, saltiness aside, back to this one. Seems like, I mean, if their play isn't to do anything until like turn forever, that's pretty good for us. This is a touch of a struggle now. Not having any islands is a bit worrisome, as one could imagine. How sick would a startle be here, though? Can't believe we didn't see any. I have to pay attention when we go through the review as to whether or not we saw any startles or if we saw any Falcon Abominations. I don't think we did, but I have to pay attention. That's not an island. Been so good. If we could just play the Amalgam and attack with the 4/4. Feels like we should be like super far ahead in this game. We're just not getting there with the mana. Okay. Sure. Ah, game, we were so close. So close. What a shitty way to go. I mean, we can still do it. We're not completely out of this, but we were like next level ready to take this game down and just getting resourced right out of it. So frustrating. Yep. Just like actual anything would have let us. It's something that makes a zombie, any island. It's, what a shitty way to go. Are we just dead? Yep. All right. GG, I guess. This is one of the frustrating things of coming to Magic. It still comes up and bites me every once in a while. Playing games like Hearthstone and Runeterra where things like that just don't happen because it's not a part of the game. It's a little frustrating, but kind of is what it is. So got to 5 wins at least, a little plus bonus on the gems. Let's get this pulled up and we'll talk about it a little bit more. Okay, so yeah, I mean, this is kind of what we were talking about. It kind of feels like, it's a 21, 22 card deck. It's just lacking like a little bit of the combos to really make it pop off. Again, if we were able to say trade out these arrogant outlaws for like Falcon Abominations and then have one startle, so we just have a multitude more ways to be generating these zombies, then this would just be like a choice 7-0 deck. The only games we're losing with that deck are like that last one where the mana is just completely fucked and you're not in the game. Apparently, well, you're in the game until you're not, as you end it with five untapped land and 4 spells in your hand you can't cast. But that's like really all we were lacking here is just that touch of additional zombie generation, and I feel like we really called that out as one of our needs, kind of like maybe at the beginning or middle of Pack 2. And the cards just didn't show up. It's like if we wanted to play another No Way Out, we could have, but the Flip the Switches, the Falcon Abominations, and the Startles just never showed up. And so I'm curious if that is because like someone to our right was in some kind of weird blue deck, or if the cards just didn't exist. And I kind of feel like in that draft they just didn't exist. And so those aren't cards that your like blue white decks and your blue X decks that aren't blue back are looking for. And I'm pretty confident, given the lateness that a lot of those removal spells were running around, that the players to our right weren't playing blue black. And so I think it was just a bit of a low roll in terms of the cards that were showing up. But in your, double Champion of the Perish, double Bladestitched Skaab deck, you really have to go out of your way to look for those, and they weren't here. That's fine. But I think kind of the big takeaway beyond that was, we specifically called that out in the draft as to looking for the zombie cards and them just not being there, is that you do have to kind of make the distinction in the decision sometimes as to how aggressive your blue-black deck is. Because they're generally terrible at it, right? Blue-black is not good at being aggressive, but, we casually mentioned earlier, you will have these draws, though, where especially in our Champion of the Perish deck, where you play, Champion of the Perished into Bloodstitched Skaab, into Falcon Abomination, and that is, a fantastically aggressive draw. But even without the rares like that, even if, you play nothing on the first turn, and then you have the Bladestitched Skaab into the Falcon Abomination, and then on turn 4, you play one of these 2-cost removal spells and a Vengeful Strangler, like you run over a lot of decks that stumble. And then, a deck that felt like it could keep a hand that didn't have a 2-drop, or even if those decks are just on the play or on the draw, they can stumble behind that a lot. And so we were kind of, looking to be a little bit more on the aggressive side of things. You could see how awkward it gets when you have these Vengeful Stranglers and then just no way to sacrifice them. Your opponent tends to just ignore it the whole game. But if you're playing the the control decky kind of thing, you want nothing to do with Vengeful Strangler. And so it's very much one of these cards like the Vampire Interloper that you need to be in an aggressive deck for it to be useful. And since we were in the zombies deck that could be aggressive, I felt like it had the potential to turn out okay here, but still ultimately fairly awkward. But I would rather be playing Vengeful Strangler than like Unblinking Eyes or Bait Hook Anglers or whatever the other kind of crappy blue-black 2-drops are that are trying to be aggressive but just don't quite have it in their bones. But otherwise, yeah, I think this turned out good. Our spells were good. Our top-end package was serviceable. And then we're really just trying to take advantage of the champions and the Scab Wranglers and the zombie generation. And it just wasn't quite there. I want to go look at the draft. I think we drafted this well. I'm just curious as to where, all the Revenge of the Drowned type cards are. Because we were looking at packs like this in pack 1 and being like, well, it's not unreasonable to table a Drowned Yard Amalgam or a Crawl from the Cellar, or if we're high rolling, the Bait Hook Angler or the Revenge of the Drowned. I don't think any of this showed back up. The Drowned Yard Amalgam did, but we weren't sure if we were going to be playing blue-black or if we're going to play black-red at this point. So I think the Vandal was still okay here, but I was curious as what tabled in this one. Kind of the same thing with pick 2. This one was just very Boros heavy. There's nothing we're going to table out of this in terms of blue-black or black-red. And so the Infernal Grasp was fine, kind of premier removal. Sticking with the black and the defense rate is fine. We're not missing out on anything here. But again, we haven't seen any of the zombie generation, right? There's a Hobbling Zombie. These were the kind of things I was expecting to table in some of the other packs that just didn't. I think we might have actually gotten a No Way out of this one, or maybe it would have been like a Lambolt Harrier. Yeah, the No Way Out tabled out of this one. So, not bad. Then you're never happy to be out here taking a 5th pick Arrogant Outlaw, but I mean, there's no Esper cards. This is just a really, like, in every deck that we assemble, if that deck, doesn't have to play any of these cards, then you're pretty happy with it. And so at pick 5, it's fine. It does look like we're getting more into the black-red deck here with the Bat Whisperer. It's just Drowned Yard Amalgams for days. The Brimstone Vandal is fine. Again, no black cards. Don't know if we want the Gaze. Would have been nice to have the Bait Hook Angler out of this one, but, as we kind of think red might be open, I think the Stolen Vitality here is fine. I mean, the Bait Hook Angler, it would have been played, but we didn't care that we didn't have it. Yeah, I think pack 1 turned out fine. Definitely base black. Not sure if we're going to be blue, like in what flavor of black. I think that's okay. The Ludovic gives us a lot of direction as to playing blue-black, and I think that's fine. No, no tables out of this one though. It's a bit of a low roll. Very, very green heavy pack here with the clear shot root coil creeper, and then just not stuff for Esper. I think that happened for a lot of these. Just the pure, the pure Esper pack out, or I mean the pure white black Orzhov pack out of this one. The defense straight is fine. Is Geistwave what tabled out of this pack? Vengeful Strangler and Geistwave tabled. Interesting. But I guess that's how we ended up with the two Vengeful Stranglers. But not bad. Happy with the defense straight. And then with the Skaab Wrangler, I think we're just locked into blue-black at this point. Between having the champion of the Perish, the Skaab Wrangler, the Ludovic, we're just locked into zombies at this point. But it's just, I'm trying to see, I'm pretty confident at this point we haven't seen any Falcon Abominations. Like, here's the flip the switch, but that's not going to table at this point. We are getting a lot of gifts between the 4th pick Skaab, the 5th pick Foul Play. But yeah, just I think those cards we were looking for just didn't exist. The Vengeful Strangler's fine. I'm not seeing any packs in here that I just don't like. And then we are super locked into the zombies with the champion of the Perish. But this is like, I guess, kind of the thing that would push this from being a 5-win deck into being a 7-win deck is like, if we table the Hobbling Zombie here instead of like Novice Occultist, whatever came back, with this, even if we table, say, like a No Way Out, that would look pretty good. Pick 10, but just nothing came back from this point forward. Like, we're not excited about Ghoulish Processions. The Skaab was a gift. It feels very much like blue-black was open. It was just we didn't see a startle the entire draft, and a lot of the zombie generation just didn't show up either. So we had the pick of the litter as far as No Way Outs were concerned. But again, like the Falcon Abomination, the Return to the Depths, whatever the bounce spell's called, the startles, the Hobbling Zombies, those units just didn't show up today. And kind of is what it is. But yeah, not a bad draft. I'm still happy with our 5 wins. I thought we had more in us than that, but it turned me happy nonetheless. So let's see. We did do a little bit of core set drafting on the stream. I think we hit 4 wins in our core set draft. Not horrible. Oh man, we're one short of the open 10. This will be the one where we find out if it's just 20 gems all across the board, isn't it, right? I don't feel like I've opened a mythic, and I think every single one of these has just been 20 gems. I couldn't bring myself to just go look it up. So this is going to be the end of the experiment. Because see, they have the rare symbol at the bottom, so I figured you'd get more gems out of opening a mythic. But ever since we got our 100% completed set, I've seen nothing except rares. There it is. Problem solved. You get 40 gems instead of 20. It has been noted. All right. So yeah, I think we've learned it all at this point. We know everything there is to know. That's pretty good. Feels pretty good to know it all. All right, and our last one. Okay, and so that is going to do it for us today. I hope you learned how to champion your parish. You maybe learned a thing or two along the way. Had a good time watching. This is Bust, and we thank you for being here.